Hey everyone, let's do a quick market update. It's been a little while, had some things going on last week, but I'm back and I'm looking at some monthly charts quick. Look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, a couple altcoins, and then I will take off for the day. So let's see here. Ethereum, quick look at the monthly chart. All right, we're at a resistance and we're at a support, kind of. We're in between this range. So no significance here. All right. Here's a major breakdown area as well, which we rejected on last month. Okay. So we got a high volume rejection here, a little cautious, and that would leave me thinking we maybe need to retest 290s. All right. Be cautious of that after this high volume. All right. High volume sell off. So we'll watch. We're kind of in a range right now. So not much else to take away from this on the monthly, okay? Not much else to look at right now other than we're in a range. But we do have this nice overall, if we look down below, we have this nice, like breakout of this lower range here. Whether you want to call it an ascending triangle, okay? Whether you want to call it a, different kind of bottom or something. Whoops, that's the wrong button. All right, whether you want to call it like some kind of bottom here, we have a nice breakout and we see some increasing volume come out, but we do have this high volume rejection we have to be cautious of locally, okay? Hello, Javier from Spain. Welcome. Thanks for joining my stream. All right, so ETH monthly, that's where we're at with that. Weekly, let's see. Weekly OBV is a double top, triple top here maybe, and it's now retesting this resistance area. So if we close this week red, all right, ETH is going to have a pretty ugly rejection here at resistance. So we need to be mindful of that, and I need to be careful with longs up here, okay? Because if this rejects, this is actually going to bend down, and we're going to have a resistance retest rejection. All right. So be mindful of that. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Price action. Obviously, we have this huge red candle. Everyone forgets about this thing. And you can see here we actually rejected resistance. Okay. Now, I didn't swing short this because there's potential for us to go higher up here. All right. I'd rather just hang my hopes on either scalping or catching some longs way down lower. Okay. But for now, we're basically just in zone, okay? My assumption was that Bitcoin and ETH, whichever side they broke up to first, was going to be a fake out. So whether they broke up first and back down, and vice versa, whatever. So we broke up. So now my gut feeling is saying that it's a fake out. So, and I'll go over that on the Bitcoin monthly chart here soon, from a chart that I've been posting since the September was about to close. Okay. So we got that rejection there. We could definitely drop. We could go up. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we chop a little bit more. We've been chopping all month, it seems like, the last couple months, and so why not some more, right? But anyway, this is, to me, a bearish candle. It's a lot of longs got trapped up here, shorts liquidated, whatever. We drop hard, and then you typically see continuation afterwards, okay? We're not seeing a ton of buyback volume yet. It means basically just chop zone, okay? So that's where the weekly's at, leaning. Top Goon X is actually trending up nicely, so any dip would give us bullish divergence, and that would be, grounds for basically a long the dip situation for me. So that's kind of where my mind's at right now, is either long the dip or wait for some sort of breakout and long that. So I don't know, maybe it looks like this, so something above here. We'll see. We'll see on that. So weekly, we need more data. It's too early in the week to really assess this. And if you're assessing weekly charts at the start of the week, then you need to use past data more than present, okay? Because this week's candle could end way up here. It could end way down here. It's Tuesday, so it's got like 5 more days to close. So there's just too much time in the rest of the week for me to really worry too much about that. As well as this monthly candle. I didn't even talk about this month's candle other than where it rejected at. But there's still 3 weeks left in the month, so that doesn't matter. All right, let's go to the 1 day. So from a 1 day perspective, okay, I do see probably a strong breakout here, okay, depending on how I draw this trend line. So however I draw it, Okay, that looks like a nice little breakout there with some volume. Unless maybe we want to say it's like this, then that could be a rejection. Okay, there's a straight line. So this is kind of the resistance we're battling with right now. So it definitely rejected at resistance. Okay, somewhere up here, wherever you draw this line. So we definitely need to flip that. And I can't take any longs there, right? You can't take longs up here. Can't really take shorts over here, we're down here now because we're kind of at a support. So we're kind of just in mid-range of this we're in the upper mid-range basically. But for this candle's sake, it looks like a nice strong breakout. Not much sell-off from there. And now we have a retest. So technically speaking, and again, I can draw this however I want. All right, I'll put it up here, whatever. Technically speaking, we have a breakout retest. Will it hold? We don't know. But all we can do is read what the charts tell us. We can't guess or, say what we want them to do, because if you get too set on what could happen, or what will happen, then you're going to be wrong more times than not, and you won't be able to switch your brain. So I need to say what could happen here. This could potentially happen. This is what the charts are showing me. I need to read the data on the chart. Let the chart tell me what could potentially happen, or let the chart tell me how the market will react to things. Okay, so the market will react when they see certain things on the charts. All right, so that's kind of what you're trading, is what the market's going to do, not what you want to do, not what you want the charts to do. What is the market going to do? Okay. So right now I'm in mid-range. There's nothing for me on the daily. I've been just scalping 1 through 30-minute time frame charts this morning, basically. We did some scalps in Discord this morning for Elevate Trading members, and it was 2 scalps, 23% scalp and a 12% scalp. So just 2 today. Not over trading. We were really patient. It took us about an hour to get those 2 trades, but to wait for our levels to hit. But 12% and a 24% in 2 hours is not, or in an hour isn't bad at all. So anyway, so if we look at the 6-hour chart, and this is probably as low as I'll go. Excuse me. We have this nice high volume breakout here. We do have a pretty ugly rejection here. And now we just have some nasty chops, some buyback. A lot of people probably thought this was uber bullish. But high volume dropping to support is usually not very bullish. So what I see here is another high volume drop to support. So it's kind of risky to buy this. But if we do hold this support and hold this wick, we could potentially bounce here. And the 6-hour closes in another 2 hours. So we still got time. Anything could happen here. But if we can hold this around here, it is high volume, so I would still expect some sort of a drop, but we could drop, and then we could potentially push to these resistance levels here. So this is a Whoa, where are you going? Oh, wrong button. Okay, this is a resistance level here, and then this is another resistance level here. But above there, there's obviously, free air. So if we break above this breakdown candle here, if we break above that yellow line, then I expect us to at least revisit somewhere in this area. Okay, and then if we close above here and have some strong bullish activity, then we can obviously push higher. All right. I always like to make zones because I never, I don't like to get set on a level, like an exact level being hit, because if you set your exact level just down here and it misses, then you're missing out on your trade. And actually that's what happened earlier. Is I was looking at this level down here and I was waiting for a long, and I had to get in late because I missed it. But you can see Bitcoin here actually hit support already, and that's why we bounced a little early from ETH. Okay, so if I would have set a zone here and say, like, if I would have just been like, all right, I want to long in this zone, then I would have been more apt to try to catch something down here rather than to say I want to long this line. Okay, so just that little tip there. But let's go back to the 6H. Okay, if we hold above this candle wick, then I'd basically say this was a fake out, and we should at least retest, 384-ish. Okay, so that's kind of the medium term plan for the next 12 hours, is seeing if this support area holds, and if it does, then seeing if there's a potential for a low time frame entry to get a bounce to 384. All right, pretty simple. Make a plan and wait for the follow through. Wait for your criteria, whatever it is. I was telling my Discord members earlier that I have a trigger and I have a confirmation. So my trigger is something that's going to tell me that, like a bullish engulfing, like this is a trigger here, right? This is a trigger candle. It's a nice strong candle. That's the trigger. And then maybe my confirmation was this holding down here, this support holding. Okay. So we could say, I want to get in a long. This is my trigger. This is my confirmation. And now we bounce. Okay? Something like that. So that's kind of how I look at my trades. And I have success with that, and there are different triggers for every time frame, okay? And different criteria for different trades. So 6H, we're in this zone. There's no swing trades to be had in this specific zone. And I'm kind of just waiting for maybe a 6H trade or like a little bit lower, all right? Let's go back to the Bitcoin. We'll go to the monthly chart, and I'll show you guys what I was talking about here. All right, so I said last month, close into September, that this is kind of a topping pattern here. And this is a pattern I trade a lot on lower time frames. Okay, so you get a strong candle here. Okay, not much volume. All right, but you get a strong candle here, and then you get kind of either like a doji or a rejection candle or whatever you want to call it. This looks more like a doji. Sometimes you get a rejection candle, hangman, whatever. And then your next candle is a high volume sell-off. Okay. So a lot of people short these, and on low time frames, these get a lot of shorts trapped in there and whatnot, and then we bounce quickly at the beginning of the next open, and then we drop. So my premonition was if we get at the beginning of the month, if we push up here, we could reject and then see further downside, okay? And this is what happens on low time frames a lot. I don't know about high time frames as much, honestly. I don't know. I don't trade monthly charts often, so I don't know how they specifically react to certain things as well as I do low time frames. But basically for this, I would expect us to reject here, and then we could drop back to probably at least this level, so 9,500-ish. Excuse me, 9,500-ish, and we've got this. So, excuse me. So high volume rejection doji type deal here, high volume sell off here. And then, it's still early in the month, but you would expect like a lower volume buyback. And then, so there's a couple different options here, though. If we close above, okay, and remember, we always look at our different options. If we close above this, we could potentially just skyrocket and fly. And that would be a really strong bullish signal, as if we did have a strong close here, okay? That would tell me that the market said, no, we're bullish, buyers are here, we're going up. So that's one option. The other option is, we could hit up here early in the month and then drop later on in the month and see a big red candle on the monthly. Okay, the next option is we could basically float around here all month, consolidate in this area, chop around, sit up here. Next month, we just drop, okay? Because that's likely what would happen if we just floated around here and we couldn't close above that resistance. And especially like we could even like cheat up here a couple times during this candle during this month and then still fall down, and especially if we close below this resistance here, which is, what level is this? Around like 350-ish. So if we close below this even on the monthly, then that'd even be a little bit more bearish. Okay. So for now, I'm not mega bullish. I can't long up here. I could have longed down here somewhere. Once the monthly open flipped over above 10,800, I could have longed. But anyway, I'm just kind of waiting. It's been a choppy month, the last 30 days anyway, so I haven't taken too many trades. I've just kind of been hanging out. All right, so let's go to weekly, see what weekly shows us, and see if it confirms or denies anything. OBV is basically just chopping around. No conclusions to be drawn from OBV. Top Goon X is still on the bullish end. Okay, that's good, but we can always pull back a little bit with price, and momentum can stay bullish. And again, Top Goon X is a momentum indicator, so that's just showing us nice bullish momentum on the weekly ever since we dropped here and had bullish divergence. Okay, next support level on weekly chart. Okay, I would pretty much just draw it like this, and if we drop, we could say somewhere around low 9Ks is where we could potentially hit. Okay, which would make sense. So it would match up with our monthly chart. Okay, so that's weekly. And if we just look locally again on the weekly, look what we have here, and look where we rejected. Okay, we rejected at this resistance. Okay, at this breakdown resistance, pretty significant rejection. All right, now if we flip that, I would look to potentially long that for a push. Okay, because this is a major breakdown, high volume. So the market is sending a message there, and we rejected there. Okay, so that was not a bad shout for a short in that area. All right, go to daily. OBV is a huge reaction here, but we didn't make a new high. We're basically just sideways, okay? And we're basically just sideways. We rejected at, let's see if we rejected at this or broke above it on the daily. This is, what was the open there? Open 11,388, and we closed at 11,528. So we closed above it, and now we're basically retesting it. So if we can stay above 11,388, we could push up to and retest this 11,950 support area or resistance area right up here. Okay, this breakdown. All right. And we would want to see some, so we wouldn't just want to long if we hit up there. We would want to wait for some high time frame closes and whatnot. All right. Can you do a link analysis? Yeah, I can look at link here soon. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at with that. This Bitcoin doesn't look as great on the daily as ETH. You know, we see a little bit longer wick on Bitcoin, top wick, which isn't great. Top Goon X is still in bearish momentum territory on both of these on the daily. So we have to be mindful of that. I don't know what's going to happen right here. Again, Bitcoin is the same exact scenario as Ethereum. Is there a divergence on the daily? I don't know. Let me look. Hold on. Bitcoin, same 6H scenario as Ethereum. So the same rules apply here to Ethereum. It's pretty much looking the exact same. Is there a divergence on the daily? What's what I click on ETH? Let's see. So obviously our 6H divergence is ugly, but that could almost be a hidden divergence to where you bounce. I don't like playing hidden divergences on OBV. On the daily, is there divergence? No, because, well, technically, yes, there's bearish divergence, but it's so far away that I don't really like to play that. Okay, but yeah, you can see there's technically a bearish divergence. But again, if it was like here, then I would care about it more. And actually, so here's a better example, which I don't remember if I noticed this back in the day, back when this happened, but this would be a better example of a bearish divergence, more locally, more likely to play out, okay? So that you can see how that divergence worked out really well, okay? When it's that far away, it's almost like there's been so much happening in the middle that, you know, I don't know if it's relevant data. So unfortunately, we're not at any crucial levels now. Okay, we were at crucial levels on these two last night. All right, and now we're at a daily support. So we definitely need to hold this, or else things could get ugly. But I'd have to go to lower time frames to really attempt to make a trade. And you see, if I'm trying to long here, I'm at resistance on the lower time frames. So I would be very cautious to long this at this point. And honestly, mornings, it's morning here. They're usually better for volatility and price action. And in the afternoons, I usually just zoom way out. And if there's any high time frame trades at major supports or resistances, I'll take them. But otherwise, I don't usually scalp in the afternoons because that's usually when I give money back if I do scalp. So let's look at Link real quick because Link's kind of been leading the market lately anyway. Monthly chart on Link. Let's see. Monthly chart is still an overall bullish trend. Very strong bullish trend here. I expect continuation at some point. I don't know when. If I just look here, like this is a major breakout area. And there's also a EMA developing here. Okay. So this $4 area would be a huge buy opportunity if we got there. I could see this getting front run a little bit, or maybe like a crazy wick. Like if we got down to like, what is this, $5, $4.75 or something. If we got there, maybe like a crazy panic wick that would get bought up quickly. But if I'm looking for buys, and I've posted in Discord my Link idea, okay. I think I actually posted this on Twitter the other day, but I posted this in Discord a while ago. So I went through all the supports, and I pretty much update these every 2 weeks for myself. But, I look at OBV, I look at major supports and resistances, and it takes emotions out of it, and it helps me just kind of build a plan and build a good risk management idea, that takes emotions out of it, and I just kind of follow this. All right, and I, allocate a certain amount of portfolio. I think if Link does run, it'll run hard. So, I want 35% of my portfolio to be in Link if it does run. So that's kind of where that's at. So that's what I'm looking at here. Major supports. Major breakout support is 480. Okay, that's the one I showed. If we broke below 480, 450 area, like monthly, major support is 450. If we broke below there, you could see here cut position on a weekly close below 470. So anything below 470, I would want to see major wick right away, basically. Okay. So yeah. That's a major breakout area though, and then we've got this nice high volume candle here, which it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world if we washed out those longs that are still in profit here and dropped a little bit lower. Okay. But again, nice monthly uptrend. I still think this is overall still an uptrend. Maybe a head and shoulders here, okay, which is a reversal pattern on the OBV, which is almost kind of like a weird reversal here. And then this can kind of suck in a lot of people, this candle, and then we reject and drop lower. So I have a little bit of link from my lower purchases that were listed on that my little note thing, but otherwise I'm waiting till later this week to see if I'm going to, form a bullish plan for getting buys up around here somewhere, or if I'm going to wait for my lower buys to hit. Okay. Daily, unfortunately, on Link looks the exact same as everything else, other than we've got this big rejection here. Okay. I mean, this Top Goon X is just showing a lot of downwards momentum. Even here, really heavy downwards momentum, no bullish divergence or anything. So, I'd prefer to buy Link if it drops to this zone, or if momentum drops into this zone, or if it drops down to here. So that's really all on Link, you guys. I mean, it's basically the exact same as Ethereum and Bitcoin. Unfortunately, kind of an ugly sell-off here that we need more data for. We need our 6-hour charts to form to assess our next plan. If those closes are below those important supports I talked about, where it's very likely we drop immediately. But if our 6-hour closes are up a little bit higher, we could potentially drop a little bit and then bounce. So we'll have to keep an eye out for those. Overall Link, though, the lower levels that I'm interested in, okay, are these levels down here. Basically anything below this wick. Anything below 738, I take heavy interest in. We've got some support at 650. We've got support at 682. We've got this huge gap here. Okay, this huge gap here is the one thing that if we hit below here, we could just gap down. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. But any new low, I'm pretty interested in. Okay, let's see. What else? Link. So let's look at Band. We'll look at OXT. I actually bought some OXT yesterday, and I may regret it. But let's see. So OXT, just from a PA standpoint at weekly, we held this support on the weekly, so I bought. This is a big support area. I believe it's a fib level 2, so 0.886. So I was expecting hopefully a bounce to 0.68 or 0.786, but since we already retested that and we already tested this, I would consider a bounce to the 0.5. So if we get to the 0.5, that'd be 100% profit, a little over 100%. And if we get down to, my stop loss or whatever, it'd be like 15% loss. So keep an eye on that. But, I like the R to R associated there. Made plenty of money on this before. I also like this ascending triangle breakout. Super strong breakout. Obviously, Binance listing, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. I don't know how these shitcoins play all the time, but I have decent luck overall in the long term buying these at high time frame supports. So I thought I'd give it a go again. It's just not high volume enough for me to even go into lower time frames. But there is a daily falling wedge breakout right here. Again, not high volume, which is what I would like to see on a liquid asset. But since this isn't a high liquid asset anyway, who knows? Sometimes you get low volume breakouts on these and I don't buy and then they fly. So let's go to Band. Okay. Band is one that looked really good until it rejected here. It's got bullish divergence down here. It's nice and starting to bottom out. We had this nice downtrend break here with volume retest, all that good stuff. We do kind of have a high volume rejection here with almost like a tweezer top, so that has me concerned and tightening my stop up. Top Gun X though is looking bullish. If we can break upwards, I think we can hit, and it could depend on Bitcoin. But I think we hit like $9 area, at least 850. But I would be looking for like like 950 here, like this rejection if we can push up. So I mean, nice weekly volume here, and this is almost like one of those situations where I would consider this being like a fake out, whereas like this is your support. We drop down here, everyone starts shorting or closing their positions or whatever, and then we bounce back up. And now this is almost a bullish engulfing candle, and then we should get some follow through here. It's still too early in the week to really decide how the weekly is going to look. This daily has me a little concerned, but if this is low volume today rejection, then I would consider a chance for more upside. High volume rejection or like a mega rejection, then I'm gonna have to cut. But for now, as long as we hold the support area, then I would say that there's still potential for more upside. And again, we have like this breakout here. I don't know, we could call this a descending channel. I mean, more so I just kind of see this as like a stop hunt before a bounce. But it could be a range chop too. It could be range low, range high, drop again, and then go up. And there's potential on the weekly for one more drop down to this level of 420, this breakout, and then sometimes you'll get a bounce there. I don't know if it'd be a sustained bounce, but usually on these big, strong candle breakouts, you get some sort of a support bounce. So yeah, band, I'm up a little bit on that. Not as much as I was yesterday, obviously, because we're dropping. I'm just waiting for this to play out a little bit more. I don't like that 4H close that just happened. But we did hold support. We held that wick support, which is nice. I mean, that's a decent sign, and we're holding this breakout support for now. But you can see that it just wants to drop. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not taking too much info away from this. Again, this is a more low volume asset. I'm not as good with these low volume assets. I just kind of buy high time frame support and sell high time frame resistance on these. But for this one, I'm like really tempted to close, but I'll hold on to it for a little bit longer. I'm not hugely invested, so we'll see what happens. And there's still a potential for a push. It could depend on Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. Let's see about RSR, one of my coins that's actually moving. We've got a nice inverse head and shoulders here. Okay, on the daily, I like that. It's a good sign. We have this massive downtrend break here. Okay, and we have some really strong volume coming in. And this is the daily chart. So I'm happy with my entry here. I got in at like 975-ish, and then I got stopped out at break even. And then I re-entered at like 875-ish or something. I got a little slippage on the stop out, but not too much. And I'm actually up now and on the whole position as a whole after the two, if I were to close now. So I like this downtrend break. I like this volume coming in. Can we get a retest? Yeah. I'm not huge. It's not a huge position. It's more like a Hail Mary position where like if it went to zero, I wouldn't go financially broke or anything. So I'm kind of just going to hold it and see what happens. I feel like RSR is always one of those that would always like pump really nice and have nice steady uptrends, and I'd always miss out on it. So I wanted, now that it's on Binance, I wanted to try to get in and just see if I can, get a long-term hold here for maybe the next 6 months to a year, something that can maybe 10x return. Because if it goes to $1, that's pretty much a 10x or a little bit more than that return if it can do, make a pump. So we'll see. But yeah, I like this daily look. So at least for now, I'm expecting like a 0.12, 0.13 retest area up here. Okay. Let's see. I think that's about it, you guys. I feel like whenever I do these I feel like I post charts a lot, and there's key areas and stuff, and then when I do the live streams, the key areas have already been met, so then the live streams aren't as exciting. But there's some good volume finally, good volatility, so you can find some low time frame scalps. I'd be a little careful right now in this little chop range to do any of that. Just because a lot of people try to get in late on these moves, and then they just get chopped, and we go a little bit sideways and chop back and forth. So be cautious. This 4 hour did close above our support. I would still wait for 6 hour to close above. Okay. That's kind of our key there. That's going to be like my partial trigger for looking for an entry. All right. Link's kind of been leading. So if Link's dumping hard, take note of that. But otherwise, we'll just kind of see if Bitcoin can go sideways at least for a while and show some stability. Then people will get back into alts, and alts like Band will run, maybe OXT even. So we'll just keep an eye on that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I'll get content out to you as much as I can, and I've got to take off for the afternoon now, get some things done. But stay tuned for updates. I'll be posting charts and stuff on Twitter. Thanks, guys. On Twitter.